Hello and welcome to um, Natasha Venter. I'm Natasha Venter to Into Clarifications with Natasha. I am here to support you in your life's journey. And how are you doing? And I got to check something real quick. Let's see, retrograde animals. Retrograde. I was going to do this before I started, and I apologize. So retrograde. Oh God, I can spell today. Um, retrograde. Let's see. Right now we have Venus um, going and Neptune. I think Neptune and Venus are all in. We're going into where we have a lot of planets in retrograde, and we're all kind of going through some stories about ourselves and doing things like that. And it's one of those things that what can we do with this, right? And I apologize for the beginning of the show. I was discombobulated, and I'm coming in because it's just been one of those days where I've been helping a lot of people with communication, and it's been an interesting story. Getting things straight in my head because of the 3D world and me being where I'm at and things going on. And so I wanted to talk today about how are you getting through your breakthroughs? How are you negotiating your breakthroughs? How are you knowing what you're doing? You're good. Thank you, Veronica. Thank you very much for your patience with me. Because it's like this is what we're going through is a lot of discombobulation, right? And those discombobulating days are very much interesting. And it's like we can't necessarily know exactly how to process what we're all going through. I know for me, like this last weekend, we're at the beginning of March here, or actually kind of, yeah, in the middle of the beginning of March here. And we just went through the planetary changes this week where they were alignment. We had the new moon last Thursday. We have, I think it's Neptune going into retrograde. And that's why I was going to try to look up here because I get Venus and Neptune, but I just know that right now, oh my gosh, if you're getting a breakthrough, I was talking to somebody at my work where I'm at that, she was saying that she was getting a breakthrough about how she was finding her voice and how she knew that she was just as important as everybody else in the room. She was just as important as her whole family. Isn't that an interesting thing? Because I know for me, that's kind of the breakthrough I got this weekend was me being a woman. Not saying that this is just a woman thing, okay? I want to make sure that's clear. It's not just a woman thing. It could be whoever you are. I know there's women that do this to men do this to women. It doesn't matter. I was talking to another coworker, and she has a partner that's the same sex as her. She's and she was even talking about how she was awakening some of her sexual knowings, you know, and she didn't go into detail at all, but I told her a little bit about my breakthrough, and she goes, "Oh my gosh, Natasha, you're speaking my language. You're speaking what I just went through." Because she wanted to not be at home anymore. She needed to be at work because she was tired of going through what she was going through with this awakening that she was going through. And so going into this, but you know, going through what my coworker did about finding that she was just as important as everybody else in the house. And that was mine. So I'm going to go into what I had a breakthrough for. And I did a short little video. It was actually about, 6 minutes long, but it didn't really go into details because I wanted to be careful about triggering people. But I'm going to do this for us, right? Because this is about triggering. I'm not trying to trigger you, but I also want you to understand that, I and I'm sorry, if you don't want to talk about being, the sexual things, I'm going to do it very discerningly, so I don't necessarily go into huge details. But I know for me, being molested when I was around 5 years old, 3 to 5 years old, from a neighbor kid, and my dad even said I had a hard time peeing for the rest of the week or for about a week because of what I went through. I didn't really remember it. My mom didn't really remember it, but my dad did. My dad was very much, about the real world. right? He taught me a lot about the real world. And so with that, jumping forward to now, you know, jumping forward to my husband, love him. He has been an amazing man. He has matured, grown, structured himself. He's learned a lot. He's really looking at himself. I don't want to speak bad about him because he's just becoming this man, but there's been also a lot of story of him while he was drinking real heavily and smoking real heavily and doing that kind of thing. And so now he's like wondering why I don't have the drive. I don't want to do it. I don't want to have that drive. So reading between the lines here, you know what I mean by I don't want to. It's not that I don't want to. I enjoy it, but yet at the same time though, I don't have that drive. Like he was complaining that when I wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning, he wakes me up. It's not the first thing I think of. Sorry, not the first thing I think of in my life generally. And I've been trying to discern that out. Is that hormones or is that something that is my life thing that I've gone through because of the fact that, hormones could do it. But I know this has been something that I have never had in my life. And so, but my hormones have always been messed up. I've had cysts, I've had really bad cycles. I had a cyst that ruptured and I just thought they were just bad cramps. It's like, so I've always had this thing. Uh, Hi there, lovely day, night, and to everyone. Hello, you're from France, aren't you? Thank you for being here. Um, my cat. Ah, he's going to distract me a little bit here, but I'm not going to allow him. So going into this, that we do have these times in our life. I don't care who you are, who you are in the depth, but we always have these times in our life where we get demeaned. We get told we're not good enough. We get told that we're not able to do things. And so with that me being shy and quiet when I was younger, it took my parents passing away for me to get out of this shy and quietness. My husband even says I'm not the same woman he married because I just kind of came out of my shell. But being in that first part of my years that I actually didn't have anyone, it's like my first time having the time done to me. It was like it was something that the guy wanted and I didn't want it, but it was part of the story of what I probably should have done, as I'm doing quotation marks for those listening on podcasts later. So it was one of those things that actually it was a beautiful view where we're at. The sunrise was coming and it was a beautiful view, but this part of me wasn't really connected. My body wasn't pretty much connected. And so that was the story. Then the next guy that I went out with, he was one that, it's like I finally got into a relationship with him, wanting to do things. And then as soon as he found out his past girlfriend was available, I got dropped. Then my husband that I had before my husband now, he went out on me, gave me, bugs and different things like that. It was like he stole from me. It was like, so my life was mirroring. And this is one thing I want to bring out, that life usually mirrors us for what we need to work on. Ain't that interesting? Life mirrors. So life was mirroring. How do I value myself? Life was mirroring. Do I become a victim? Life was mirroring, how do I love myself? All those things were mirroring that. So like I said, it doesn't matter who you are, black, purple, pink, tall, short, in, out, girl, female, male, female, bi, it doesn't matter what you are. Life is mirroring what we need to work on. Well, it was marketing, having me work on that. And so, and then my husband, in the years when he was drinking a lot, I would get berated because I didn't have the right position. I didn't have this. I didn't do that right. I didn't do this right. Well, it's because I didn't show all the way, right? I didn't show up all the way. And so coming through this breakthrough, that I had this weekend. Now, I know that I've been married almost 34 years. It's one of those things that, coming into this, that, just because I've been married a long time doesn't mean that, it's now a free ride. We're always working on something as a human being, especially now. Both my husband and I are in our second Saturn return. So, we're going into the depths of ourselves a little bit more here, right? And so going into that, he finally asked me, "Why don't you want to?" And I go, "I don't know." And through that conversation of things and me being finally vulnerable enough with him, and that's the key. That is the key. If you can find someone to be vulnerable with, vulnerability can really go into heal. And so finally in our relationship, we have been able to get to that vulnerability, right? And I finally got that, oh my, I gave myself away to so many who did not value what I was giving them. Now, I have friendships that I'm totally valued in. I'm not talking about you. I have several watching here. It's not about that. It's about the men that I gave that part of me away, and they didn't value that back. Friendships that were, like me being in school, and I thought we had a good friendship. And then I said, "Why don't you play with me at school?" And she says, "I'm not going to play with you at school. You know, we can play here at home, but I'm not going to play with you at school. I don't want people to see me with you." She didn't value me for who I was. She liked me out of school, but she couldn't be with me during school because I was below everybody, right? Because I wasn't valued. So coming into this, we're coming through a lot of these breakthroughs, if you can, and if you are, how do you negotiate them? Well, I know for me, my husband lovingly treated me well that night. And but then he it was a weekend, so he went off and went golfing. Thank you. I'm an only child. I like to have my time to process. I get it. I'm not mad that he went off. I actually needed that. And I had this girlfriend that I called, and I just said I needed to talk. I needed to, and I cried, and I did that deep cry of, I don't know where to go from here. I don't know what to do with this. I don't know what to be right now. I don't know. And sometimes you have to get to that I don't know part of you to really unearth who you are, right? Who you are. Now, I'm one that I've gone to the depths of those stories of I don't know where to go from here, and I've bounced back. I've done that path too many times not to know that I cannot do it. I knew I just needed to express this emotion. She wonderfully just listened. Thank you. I'm very grateful for you, Catherine. That she did that. She listened to me. But in that story, I really got value. Value. Who am I valuing? Am I valuing myself? No, I was giving myself away. So going into this, when you are coming into this thing, and this is what a lot of the planets in retrograde right now are trying to show us, is how do we value ourselves? How do we value what we are? Are we always giving ourselves away, trying to make it peaceable, make it niceable, trying to make it more calm? Or are we ones that don't do that and we're speaking out loud, we're being boisterous because we have a hard time settling to who are we truly? Who are we truly? And those breakthroughs, and many of us who are givers, we don't realize that we are giving ourselves away without being valued. And we got to be careful of that. And that's one thing that I really discerned through. And I don't know still, like I told my husband, I don't know still if it's hormones. I'm in that time of my life where, it's like, nah, you know. But at the same time, though, I want to honor what we are as a relationship. But I also understand that, was I valuing myself because of every partner I've had up to this moment in my relationship with my husband? I have not had a good relationship or a good partner who valued me, who caressed me, who really appreciated me. Now, I know that, this is part of the dance of a lot of people where, and I can't tell you how many times that I wasn't necessarily physically raped, but I was emotionally raped. I was emotionally raped with those relationships. Even my ex-husband, I was emotionally raped. And like I told my husband that you didn't even value me having time with you, even though I knew I'd be berated afterwards. I wasn't valued for what I did. And that really hit him. I wasn't meant to be mean about it, but it was enough of a conversation for him to understood what I truly was giving to the people I love. And that's the thing is that not every person that you're with can receive that kind of conversation and know that it came from love. I do that with a lot of love, right? I don't do it to be mean and pointing the fingers. It's about compassion that, honey, it's like, do you realize what I did for you and us? That's the tone I'm doing, right? So, coming into this, how do you negotiate these breakthroughs? You have to give yourself credit. Like for me, after I found out about that moment, or as I was processing through that moment, I felt like I'm a double Cancerian Aries. So I have a lot of water in my plant in my solar system that I live in, and then a few planets in Earth and fire, but most are in water. My husband's a double Leo Libra, so he's got a lot of fire, and then air, right? That Libra and air, trying to get things moving. And so sometimes he overthinks things, he overprocesses things because he wants the balance of things. And then he has the Leo energy of fire, and it's about me. It's that partier. It's that, Leos are very good people. I mean, my mom and my husband had the same birthday. They're both Leos. I have a son that's a Leo. I have one that's on the cusp of Cancerian and Leo. And so with that, there's a lot of Leos in my family. And, I get that roar that happens, right? But the thing is, though, me having the god of war Mars in my first house, or my whatever you want to call it, it's actually at 0 point between my first and my 12th house. The god of war, right, is about giving things a hug. And so, how can I give myself a hug? Well, I know for me that day. To put it as a metaphor, and people were when I told a couple people, I safely told this to a couple people that, because I felt like they could hear it, that I felt like a crab that was, when a crab is in the middle of a tide pool where they're kind of in this little get area here that is where the tide comes in and washes around and then swishes around and then it goes back out and then it comes back in and swishes around. It's like a turn a wash machine. And that's what I felt like. I was a crab that was just getting tossed around. And then when my girlfriend, and this is the one thing that I get, that there's several people out there, and it tends to fall more on the woman's side, that we need to express, we need to talk our way through something. And if we're not able to talk about it with people that can value us, we'll sweep things under the rug. We'll really sweep things under the rug. We will say, oh, I got it. I've been working on this. I'll do this. Tag me too. I didn't realize how much when I had that aha moment, how much I swept under the rug because I wanted to make peace in this world. I wanted to do love in this world. I wanted to show that I'm a strong person. I live life just like everybody else. That's why I can understand when I'm helping somebody with a session that I'm helping you through something. Hi, Patty. Thank you, Emmy and sister. It's like, I get it that we all have something that we're working on here, right? But we don't realize what we sweep under the rug until something goes bing, time to figure it out. Now, I know that I've worked on my, being raped when I was a kid. I get, I've been working on a lot of this story my whole life, but I didn't see it like I saw it this weekend. And I'm not even expressing this the full way here because, and I'm hoping that my story can help somebody out there, that you're not alone sweeping things under the rug, that you have felt like you've given of yourself that hasn't been honored. And like I said, I don't care if you're black, white, purple, pink, whatever it is. And it doesn't even have to be about the sex side of life. It could be about just even, being a caregiver of the family, and and nobody values you for taking care of your mom, and or it's like whatever that the representation of it is for you. If you're always the one that has the money in the family, and everybody else, is taking from you, they're not valuing you what you're giving. So it doesn't matter what the flavor is, what the story is that's going on, but it could be something like this. And then you just go, oh, that's what they're doing. Oh, that's what happens. That's my family. That's sweeping things under the rug. Right? So this is a time to really think about, what have you been sweeping under the rug? What have you really been getting aha moments that you have really given of yourself and you haven't been honored? And I want you to know right now, I honor you for what you've gone through, because I know a lot of us have gone through a personal hell. I honor you. The ones that have tried to keep standing up in spite of their life. I honor you. And Paula, so much under the rug, I could trip over it. Amen to that statement. Oh God, amen to that statement. Amen to that statement. Because I know for me, I trip over a lot of my rugs in my house, because I have rugs at the front door and stuff like that. Sometimes I trip over them. I wonder why I was tripping over them. Now I may not trip over them as much because I'm getting things out from underneath the rug. And what's funny is that at school, I am starting to get honored for what I do. Like, I was talking with someone today, and they asked me, how can I communicate better? What can I do what can I say that's better? What can I do that's better? I actually had another conversation with somebody today where, and I did a little video of it today, was that I take a negative spot, and that spot is like a dot, like a decimal point, or whatever you want to call it. It's a spot on the floor. I take that spot when there's a negative moment, and I try to spin to make it come out more positive. What can I learn from this? What can it teach me? What can I negotiate with this? How can I process this? How can I move this forward? Because I know that we're not always able to release something, right? We're not able to release all things. Because this for me, it was huge. I'm not ready to forget. It's like, yeah, I spent a few minutes, going back and collecting them from the different people that I've spent time in bed with, you know and or conversations with, or whatever that story was, right? I did go back and collect those parts of me. I do that very well. That's part of my work that I help other people do, is to collect these parts of themselves. I know that our souls are in different dimensions and different lifetimes, but this is the lifetime, this is the moment that my body went through it. And then now I'm processing through it, and I'm trying. Yes, it's the word trying. I understand what the word trying is. I understand that it's not the most, you either do it or you don't do it. But I can tell you, trying, the ing part is about moving forward. It's about that processing. It's the ing of the action. And that's what I'm trying to concentrate on, is the ing of the process of this. So I'm trying to upgrade, bring forward, put whatever I am, whatever I went through, in the metaphorical wagon, because I put a lot of things in the wagon that don't want to move forward right away. And I know that my life is having me move forward, and quickly. I have this wagon that I put these parts of me that don't want to move forward. It's my inner child. It could be my dyslexic self. It could be whatever that is. And I put those things in the metaphorical wagon. It could be my 3-year-old self. It could be my teenage self. It could be whatever. It's a weightless wagon. And I put everything in that wagon. I put everything in the wagon that's not able to move forward at that time. Because I know that it's like reading a book, where things Sorry, the sun's coming in here, and there we go. And so going into this, that we have these times. It's like a book. Who the character at the beginning of the book and the character at the end of the book, they transform into something new. They don't always let it go. They don't always release it. They transform it. So that's what I like to do is I like to transform things. I like to upgrade things. I like to move things forward. I like to process life into a betterness, right? So I put things in this metaphorical wagon, you know, and in that metaphorical wagon, I hold on the wagon and I keep walking my day. I keep going forward. And as they witness me doing my day and they witness me going forward, right? That the wagon helps things transform. And then when they're ready to get out and help me, they can jump out of the wagon at any time, or they can stay in the wagon with no judgment, right? So coming into this, so Paula, thank you for this safe space. I always want to have a safe space for anybody and everybody. That's who we are, is the humans going through this 3D awakening world, right? And I'm not stuck on going to the fifth dimension, the 11th dimension, the 12th dimension, the world dimension, that dimension over there, this dimension over there. It doesn't matter. I want in this physical body to be healed. So when it wants to move on, I actually can move on with clarity, right? So, Veronica, turning pain into power, right? Yes. And it's not power like ego power, it's more like empowerment. Pain into empowerment. I mean, look at you and how you turn things around. Yes, we've all had times where we had to do that, and we don't give ourselves credit for walking forward. We don't give ourselves credit for what we've gone through. We don't give ourselves credit for how strong we are. And just like my girlfriend, who gave me the moment to just bawl and say whatever needed to come out with no judgment, she held space just like I do for her when she has these moments. And that's the thing, is that sometimes we need to just hold space for these people. And I know that I'm here for you, whoever you are, when you need that space, right? There's fine. I do this as a profession too. So there is a fine line, but at the same time, I am here for you, my friends. I consider all of you friends because I haven't known you on this lifetime. I've known you on other lifetimes. So I value my friends. I love my friends. So going into this, we are all in the midst of trying to figure out who we are. What is triggering you right now that is helping you to awaken? I know for me, my husband kept saying the same words, why don't you? Why don't you want to? And that statement over and over again, I kept looking at, why don't I? Why don't I? And then finally there was the conversation that allowed me to have with myself and with him that was valued enough to awaken this part of me. And I know that we're all in the midst of this, and we cannot punish of ourselves while we're doing this. We cannot find ourselves. Because, that's another thing. We need to leave us better than we found ourselves. We need to find that space where we can find others and leave them better than we found them. And it's not, and that's why when there's a negative point, can you stand on that dot and turn and look and see what is something that you can get out of it that's a positive? Because I can really tell you that, oh my gosh, my cortisol level, even though it was a little wonky this weekend, I've learned that my back breaks out in hives in moments where my cortisol has been triggered, either in the past or now. Hmm. I was wondering why my back would break out, i.e., cortisol, stress hormone, was breaking out at very weird times. Now I know why. Now I know why, because that time when I would start breaking out is a time where in the past, old patterns, years ago, they're not necessarily now, they haven't happened in the last, let's say, 15 years, but that shows how ingrained our nervous system is. That something that could have happened 20 years ago can still sit traumatized in our body, and my body wanted to release it. And right now, while I'm speaking, my liver is talking to me. And what is the liver? The liver's the emotional hormone. It processes our emotions. It processes through the fats. The gallbladder is about emotions too. The fats of our body, the fats of our emotions, right? Our liver is about that process. And then if you got a fatty liver, if your numbers are up on your liver, I would really look at where's your cortisol level. What are you processing through your life? Are you processing through the fats, those excess fats of your life? So I use cortisol. I use get the right word, Natasha. Castor oil, right? And I put it on my face, and I put it on my neck. And when I was getting a sore throat, I put it on my throat because I wanted to clear that energy out. And I usually take a swipe and I go over my spleen and my liver. And sometimes I put it in my belly button. Now, get it. I've been using castor oil for almost a year now, over a year now. So my body is used to it. If you want to start using castor oil, you have to be careful. Put it just in your belly button at first. Maybe just put a little bit on your eyes at first, and then slowly move into it. Because I can tell you that if you use a poultice on your liver, which I probably should do a poultice on my liver. I'm getting it. Thank you, universe. Guides are telling me right now. Put a poultice on my liver, which is basically you get a piece of plastic, you get a piece of cotton. You want to make sure it's cotton. You put castor oil on the cotton, and then that plastic and the castor oil, you put it on your body, and then you let that pull the toxins out. Okay. And I don't really do that. I probably, you know, I'm getting told I should. Okay. So going into this, how do you manage you and your emotions? We're coming into a time where our stories are being torn apart by the outside triggers. And we want to leave ourselves better than we find ourselves. Ain't that a concept? Leave ourselves better than we find ourselves. I mean, my cat, friend Catherine that day, I could have called many other people. There's just something, sometimes you just got to call a certain person. There's nothing against anybody that that's listening on my show. It's not about that. It's just, sometimes there's the right person's energy that lines up with the right person's moment at the right time. And, we're all in the midst of going forward. I mean, how many of you are triggered by what's going on in the world around us? It's very triggerable. So when you are in a moment of life and when you are in the story of our life, how do you look at these triggers that are going on in your world? How do you look at them? How do you process through them? Do you allow yourself? I don't allow myself to cry as much as I probably could. I do get weepy sometimes, you know, and I felt that building up because I was weepy pretty much the couple days before that things were just starting to layer on me, layer on me, layer on me, layer on me. And that's the thing is that when you start getting these layers coming up, where you start noticing that things are just layering on you, you're starting to get a little bit more sorrowful, or things just are hitting you more in that department of, I just can't do it anymore. That moment where things keep hitting you. So remembering that those are the times when you know something is ready to break through. Does that give you a hint of life? And I know that, we're going into Mercury in retrograde. We're in the shadow effects of it. We've had, we're just getting out of Mars in Cancer. It's going back direct again. We have Venus or Neptune that's in retrograde right now for a couple weeks. We have these things that are really working in us. We've also actually had, we're now gotten out of Pisces and more going into Aries energy, which is about the fire. So we've had the deep water of our emotions. Now we got the fire to get it done and get it dealt with. Right. So, how can we move into this? How can we process through this? And it's the Chinese year of the snake. The Chinese New Year was just a month ago now. The Chinese New Year of the snake is about shedding our skin. And sometimes we don't know what we're going to be shedding. As the snake's eyes are covered. We don't know what we're going to shed. But frankly, once we do, hallelujah, put it in the wagon and bring it forward in your life. Because it's about taking care of us. It's about doing our story. It's about negotiating who we are. It's about being us, right? It's about being us. We are valued. We are valued. And I'm looking at the time, kind of thinking about, who wants to come through? Mother Mary wants to come through. And I think that a mother, a woman, can understand a little bit of what's going on. Before I do that, I'm going to go shut my curtain because this is distracting me. So I'm in the same room. I'm going to keep talking, but while I'm walking away, I'm going to process and have mother start coming in. So when I get back, so remembering when I channel, I'm not necessarily a full channel. I am still partially here. Please listen to the words and remembering your truth is your truth, even if you don't believe that I'm channeling. I'm channeling messages now, but at the same time, though, mother is divine. She's feminine energy. She's a healer. She knows. So let me close my curtains and I'll be right back. All right, that's much better. Ah! Of course, there's that one spot left that I didn't get, but I'll go like this. There we go. There we go. Okay. So as I ask Mother to come in, I'm praying that she can help you with some of this understanding. I don't know what she's going to say, but I know she's going to say something. Okay. Thank you for your patience while I do this. Oh, dear ones, oh, my daughters of this world and the sons of my world, I am so grateful that you are here with me today. You are amazing, and what your earth is going through right now, which is the humans that are on this planet. And I am so grateful you are here with me. You are amazing people going through so much. Blessings on your journey. As I bless you now, being the ones who are going through so much. Remember, though, don't take it personally. This is not about your personalness. You were chosen to go through things so that you can awaken who you are. This dear one had it right with the mirroring. As soon as that you learn and experience something, then your mirrors will change on what the world is showing you. Like this dear one, she is valuing herself, so her husband is now valuing her. Isn't that the truth? So coming into this, now I'm going to tell you that the people around you aren't always going to be on the up and up about this thing, right? Because And you, dear Veronica, are one who you married a man where you were, and now you're not there anymore, are you? So he's mirroring your old story. He's mirroring what you have already worked through, right? And dear Paula, it's time for you to really understand to be at home with where you are at. Dear Patty, you have held your family together for a long time, and it's time for you for your turn. It's your turn to hold you together. You are such a loving being, all of you who are here today, and who in the future who you are here today. I want you to remember that no matter what you are and who you are enough. I cannot say that enough. I cannot say that enough. You are enough. Whoever you are, whatever you're going through, you are enough. And isn't that an experience to walk the journey too? That you are enough. As this dear one, I would hear her say, can't I do anything right in your eyes? She is now finding that she is enough. It's okay if your brains aren't like everyone else's. It's okay if you are not exactly what other people expect. It's okay if you have had a life story of ups, downs, ins, outs, and much more, that you can finally say, you are done with the drama of your life. You may not always feel like you're done, and that's okay. This is called the journey of the human walk. I too have lived that story. But the thing is, though, it's all about the mind and how the mind likes to stay in that victim part of you, right? And that's one thing that this dear one is working with her mind and letting the mind know that it does not have to stay there, that it can move on with the story. It can move on with the journey. That being a little vulnerable once in a while without expectations of herself, most of all, ain't that a new knowing, right? That the expectations of thyself to do what other people want you to do. You don't have to have expectations on yourself if you don't know you're going to do it. Let the journey unfold. Let the impression of the spontaneity of life help you move forward. It's called the interaction of where you're at and what you are doing. So as you go forward, my friends, my family, my daughters and sons, and the wisdoms that come with everyone in your uniqueness in between, remember that you are going through the most transformative time on this planet. When my son was on the planet, he was, yes, pivotal, but only in a certain region of his time that he was on. The planet is going through it all at once. That's why there are the earthquakes. That is why there is the tremors and the ups and downs. I am not going to talk about your dear president in this time right now because he is part of the pivotalness of change. The humanness of this world is getting in the way of the bigger picture. So if you, the humans, as we walk forward, can move into the light, move from the negative to the positive, guess what? It will happen and it will heal. The ones that are in charge may not always feel the more positive words and the positive energy, but others will, and that's what's going to make a difference. Find your peace inside yourself, the PEACE, the peace of yourself, to find the peace that needs to be healed, the PIECE, that needs to be healed. So come into the fruition of who you are, which is a miracle. Finding its miracle. You are a miracle finding your miracle, my dear children. Find you, because you are the gem that needs to be unpolished, that is calling to be unpolished, that is looking to be unpolished to shine, so that other people's perspectives of you do not matter, because you have it shining right here. Your heart center. Your heart center is what carries your love and your devotion to being you. You are amazing beings. Love yourself, my children, as I love you. May peace come to you, the PEACE. Peace come to you so that you can be who you are meant to be, which is love. Hmm. Wow. I just love Mother. I just love Mother. I just love Mother. She is amazing. She is home. She is, oh my gosh, there was one night when I was fighting with my husband, one drunk night, oh, 20 some odd years ago. And I knew it was going to be a night of sleeplessness, as some of them had been. And I felt this woman come up next to me. And she said, "Child, trust. It will be okay." And I felt 3 rubs of the cheek, and I was asleep, and I slept the best I've slept in a long time. It was that memorable. So if you're looking for some support, ask Mother to come to you. Ask Mother Mary to come to you. She does not at all bothered by what you believe in or any belief system. She is mom, and she wants to be the mom of love, not the one that maybe we had as a human on this planet. Because, stories are stories. We all come from somewhere. So remembering that we do come from somewhere. We do all come from a story. I just shared a big piece of my story with you, and I'm hoping that it came to help you through what you're going through, right? That that when I, have put myself on these videos that I do and I'm put together, remembering I have not always been put together, nor will I always be put together. I am processing life just like you. And that's why I was called to bring love and light to this planet in spite of the stories. As we go forward, we're going to be tossed and turned. We're going to be up and down. And remembering that change is not easy. Change is not necessarily what we wish it would be, but it's also a journey without a destination. It may have points where we can go to a rest spot, we can go to a restaurant, we can go to these different places and get time, right? We have these little mini destinations in the midst of the big journey. Be who you are, but if you can't, be love. So I've got 10 more minutes, I think. Yep, 10 more minutes. Love, 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 Patty. Thank you for being here. Yes, love, love, love. And it's not like, we can have tough love too. It's not like we have to be love everyone, love everyone. No, you can say not in my house. This is not going to happen in my house. Tough love. Tough love for self. Nope, I'm going to put my phone down. I don't necessarily need to have it on right now. Tough love for self, right? Or tough love for others. No, not tonight, right? So, okay. The Wisdom of Avalon cards have been really wanting to speak lately. And so I'm going to stick with them. If somebody would like a card reading, please let me know. I'm going to maybe go over by a few minutes, but not very long. So I'm hoping that cards aren't like, Paula, yes, pull a card, please. Yes, Paula, I will. Um, and Paula, I want you to remember you've gone through hell and back again, and I want you to remember that you got it, girl. You got it. You got it. Yes, I'm Patty. Okay. Okay. Okay, so I am going to do Veronica first, then Paula, and then Patty. Okay, Veronica, tune in. There you go. Thank you. This is for Veronica. Horse, community. You're coming in at a time where you're going to start leaning onto your community, Veronica. You are really going to find your pattern. Remember, stay out of fear and flight, as a horse is part of the they are part of the victims of life, right? That they are predator. They're the ones that can get taken care of, and they are a victim of a lot of times of human mistreating. Ain't that the story of this show, right? So how can you find your compassion for yourself even though the other humans around you have mistreated you? Hi, Jessica. Um, Accepting help from others, uh, delegating authority, right? So how can you find that pattern? Because the butterfly is coming your way, Veronica, to show you that you're in transformation. And the butterfly is the ending of the journey. So you've gone through a lot. We've talked about this in your sessions and through friendships and stuff, that you've gone through a lot. And now it's time to enjoy the nectar of your life and the strengths and the wisdom that you have gained through your journey. Okay, so lean on your lessons and experiences of how to see the bigger picture. Okay. Okay, so hope that helps. Okay, Paula, it's your turn. Woo! Oh, I told you, Paula, that you're coming into it. Okay, so Merlin. Woo! Merlin came out. Merlin's about the magic that you create. So remembering it's time for you to find your rituals. Find your stories. Find those things that will give you a ritual. Even if you sit down and light a candle for maybe 10 minutes before you go to bed to hone in your empowerment. Oh, that's a good one. Or that you look at the first, when you don't even, the first thing you do is look at the sun coming up, right? Or the first sun up for you when you get up. Find those rituals. I take a water shower every morning, pretty much, to have the water element with me, even though it's to rinse off the castor oil. But I do find that the water, and that's part of my rituals. So what are some of your rituals? And I need to hone in my rituals a little bit more, I'm hearing too. So find the magic, remembering that you can create. You can create. What do you want to create? Because the bee wants to come and help you. What is the nectar you're ready to communicate with? You need to find your mother, the female B is the one that lays the eggs. So what can you do to help yourself find your home community, the one that can help you center yourself and be with yourself? It's about finding the nectar, but remembering, I've been talking to people who have sore throats. Get some really good local honey that crystallizes, it's not pasteurized, and let it just soak down your throat, because sometimes if we're having throat problems, it's because we're not speaking our truth or speaking not enough truth. And so finding that, oh, I gotta tell my teacher that finding that and let it just soak down your throat. And so you're getting the nectar of the balance of the bee. You are coming through a very magical time, Paula. So remembering what you think you may receive. What you're saying is what you may have. Remembering we're going into Mercury in retrograde again. Whew. But remembering that's a time to really hone in to who we are, right? Hone into who we are. Okay. So, Patty. Okay, Patty, card for you. And then Jessica, one for you. Okay, this one's for Patty. Whew. Coming out both ends for you, Patty. This one is so you, Patty. You are, oh my gosh, the bard. Patty, I love the texts that you send me and the poems that you're sending me. I know some of them are yours, some of them are some other people's, but the bard, you are here to sing. You are here to support. You're here to bring love and light. And this just resonates that you're doing what you're meant to do. You are who you're meant to do. I wish that you would put them more out there, like on Facebook or whatever you do. Just put them out there, my dear. You have a voice that's needing to be heard because you sing. You sing. So remember to sing for yourself also. Sing for yourself. Sometimes you sing for others, but sing for yourself, because the earth fairy wants to ground you, get you down into the depths. You were down in Arizona. I know that it's a little bit dry down there, but remembering it's about honing into your empowerment. And the bard is about singing the stories. So remembering that the bard is about, he would sing along the stories, go to different communities, different kingdoms, right? But he just changed the story just enough to help him survive the negotiations, survive the kingdom, right? So get into yourself, be who you are, and know that you are empowered, Patty. And thank you for everything you do to bring light and love to this world. You have been an amazing friend for years, and I love you. Okay? Whew. Okay, Jessica. Yes, there is time, Jessica. You're more than welcome, Paula. This one's for Jessica. Woo! It's a 2-card reading today, I guess, because every card has been. Okay, so, oh my gosh, Jessica, you are in the midst of coming into yourself, finding out getting quiet is not a bad thing for you. It doesn't mean being quiet, because sometimes the brain races and stuff like that, but about, like, even if, like for me, I'm getting the picture of me going and walking around my backyard, right? Just getting quiet for a moment, touching the leaves, doing something that is very peaceful for you, right? Getting that kind of quiet that even though you're active, like washing dishes sometimes is something quiet that you can do. Do something that's part of that, because it's time for you to find your empowerment, right? So the more centered in yourself, the more centered you are in yourself, the more you're going to find that empowerment, because it's time for you to have a voice. It's time for you to have a strength that is beyond yours. And I want to say this to everyone. It is time for us to get quiet in ourselves to have our personal strength to go forward. So if you have not had a card reading today and you have watched the show later, remembering that these card readings, any one of these can sit with anybody. It was specifically for the people who are on live, but if they sing for you, these cards were meant for you also. So, Jessica, time for you to get to your centeredness so you can be empowered. And I am feeling like I need to pull a card just for life. Okay. Just for life. What is... Okay, so I'm going to let this card go. Can't make this up. The synchronicity. Love. The path to finding your way in the journey of yourself is either self-love, love for others, tough love when you need it, or just showing compassion. Leave yourself and others better than you found them, even yourself. I'm Natasha Venter. Love and light to everyone. Please remember that I'm here for you in a session. I'm here for you through watching my videos that I go put on social media. Remember, I'm not on Facebook anymore. I was hacked. Actually, I kind of made myself be hacked, but I cannot get back on anymore. So I am on Instagram. I'm on TikTok. I'm on YouTube. I am on LinkedIn. So, and remembering that YouTube changed the algorithm. So a lot of my videos now are on shorts. And the one that I made kind of about this awakening that day that I was crying and no makeup and just very vulnerable was on a video. So I have not gone through, sorry, and moved everything over to the right, you know, playlists yet, but I I'm finding the time to do it. I've been a little distracted lately. It's been pretty heavy doing not hasn't been heavy, but things have been coming at me and I'm just trying to center myself wherever I'm at. Okay. May love be with you. May light and love be with you. May your story come forward to give you ideas on how to empower yourself. Blessings all. Grateful to be here. Remember, I'm here on Monday or Wednesday of every week at 4 o'clock Pacific time here on YouTube to be live. And I hope today's story, even though there was some of my personal story, was here to support you in knowing you've got it. And we can get in our self wagon that doesn't want to come along and walk ourselves forward because we are so worthy of being enlightened in this world. Blessings all. Have a blessed week. Have a blessed month. Have a blessed life. Bye now.